I came up with an idea to have a competition video where we can make a couple of cool art projects, fabricating them inside the shop. Invited Mike, my friend. Mike and Lisa are coming over in their Harleys to turn around and judge the competition video that we're going to be making inside of our shop. Well, we're starting. This is the first competition for Bob Campan to get back to work. I've got guest judge Mike Fisher here. We've got Jake, Marky Mark, Garrett, and Brian. We separated a fence in between my property and the neighbor's property, and we took down all of this barbed wire back here. I'm looking at this barbed wire and going, what am I going to do with all this barbed wire? I've also got a pile of like garbage posts that Garrett was supposed to clean up, but he didn't do it. We're going to basically cut these guys loose. They're going to have 3 hours. Mike and I are going to judge the competition, and they're going to make something that's beautiful out of these scrap things. The ingredients have to be barbed wire, wood from the scrap pile out there, and then anything in the boneyard around the shop here that they can build on. We're going to film this thing, going from start to finish, then we're going to judge it. The winner of the contest, that team, each winner is going to get a $100 bill from me and a belt buckle. Mike, you and I are going to be very critical on this. Let's get this thing started.
All right, so
what do you think, Brian? What are we thinking?
I was thinking we do fishing theme.
Dude, yes.
I'm Big Fisherman. Our judge's last name is Fisher. We can't go wrong. So we're going fishing theme.
All right, perfect.
Right there. There's a reel.
Reel. This is our reel right here. We're going to wrap it up.
This will work for a rod. Grab that.
Oh, what? It's already bent for us. Let's see.
Some of this. Grab some of these. Grab this. And maybe we'll just bring this up. It's too heavy to carry in. Well,
there's
let's
a lot
just
of
start
good
with
stuff.
this.
Yeah.
We got to start somewhere. So we'll start
somewhere.
We're gonna
see how it's
rod. All right, to the bench.
To the bench.
To the operating table.
Right.
We got the start of our fishing pole here. Making a fly rod. What's it look like? Does it look like a fly rod?
Yeah, it looks great. I'm stoked.
Why do I feel like I'm taking this way too serious?
Don't worry. I'm on your team for a reason.
Jake is almost finished with his project. Let's go take a look at it while these guys, I don't know if you're going to finish. The time's coming up. Yeah, I don't know. Did you clean this up with some WD-40 to give it a nice polished look? Unfortunately, the guys over there at the fishing camp haven't really gotten this far. And look at that barbed wire nest that you have put in for this. And oh, we're doing some little Spanish chingaderas on it. We're doing some little chingaderas.
We're gonna have.
Golly, they better step up.
You know, that's definitely made in the
So,
3 hour.
Mike,
The 3
Mike,
hour.
I don't know if you're familiar, but do you ever hear like a buzzy, like mosquito-like sound sometimes when you're in an area where you have an irritating noise coming from an area? I think that's what basically just happened now when somebody was like crybabying that they didn't have enough time. Oh, and look at this, a little floral accent. I'm assuming that you're going to do all kinds of scales on the fish, right? I take that as a no. What do you think, Mike? You like the competition?
I love it.
I do too. I think it's really good.
I love it.
And you know what? They're both quality products. Mark, you might want to take over the camera because they're way behind over there on the other side.
As you can probably imagine, Brian's been doing most of the work.
No, I didn't have to imagine anything. It's flat reality. I could see it.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? You know...
In relationship to the amount of work that went on over there for the fire pit related to some fishing rod and a fish, what do you think? But the art looks good. I mean...
I think
you think there's a competition going on here? You think we're close?
they're on the right track.
learn from him.
Yeah.
Learn from the creativity. Look at the focus. Look at the intention. He doesn't have to say a freaking word.
No.
It just oozes out of his being.
Take it to the vice grip.
So here we are in the Campana shop. Make sure you mash that subscribe button and
Yeah. Smash it.
smash it. You want to mash it real good.
Yeah.
Okay? In order to get the best subscribe possible.
Are you welding those on or just going?
The hottest place on the property.
So Garrett, Brian, you guys came up with a pretty cool piece of artwork. Why don't you tell us about what happened and how you came up with the idea that we're going to see in a minute?
Well, I like fishing. Garrett,
I do too.
So we decided to come up with a fishing themed art piece. And it goes along with we're trying to kind of secretively lure the judge in by using a fishing theme because his last name is Fisher.
Ah,
I love the strategy, so I like that. Mark and Jake. Now Marky Mark has been a proto-J underneath of Jake for a little bit. Jake's a master metal man. What did you come up with your idea and how did that work out? What do we got going on here with yours?
I got a text message from you late at night, a good screenshot of a project, and chose to go with that. Fire pit.
And Mark, what did you do in the whole thing? Were you just like the little material helper? Sure, what did you
Basically,
actually do?
yeah. It was exactly what I was doing. We,
Material.
as you'll see in a moment here, there's many pieces to the fire pit, and we had to make those pieces one by one. They didn't just appear.
Okay, let's go back and take a look at what these guys have come up with. One of the things we required was from the beginning, you saw we had to have barbed wire in the project.
Well, we were able to get our barbed wire and a piece of wood from the wood pile out there. That was one of the criterias. We had to also use anything out of the back that was in the boneyard, and that's where we saw a piece of metal that was already preformed. We did straighten it out a little bit because it was kinked, but we found that's what kind of really solidified that we were going fishing themed. So went ahead and built our rod first, and then we came up with the idea to do some toolies to really try to tie this in so it didn't look so basic. We were still trying to obviously get this done, and we were trying to keep it somewhat simple here. So yeah, we made some toolies out of some rebar and made some little sheet metal blades for it. And then Garrett designed the fish. With it, we used some more rebar in there. We found some more scrap pieces of metal out of the back, and then we tied it all in with a hand tied fly that's supposed to resemble a dragonfly.
And the wings are barbed wire minus the barbs.
So they're smooth
They're
wire
smooth-
with
they're
no barbs
smooth
on
with
them.
no barbs. I
But
took
you
the
want to
barbs
have
off.
credit. We're going to give you credit for that. Excellent job. All right. So Mike, take a close look over this one. You and I can look at it. We'll discuss what we think in a later point. All right, Jake, Mark, why don't you tell us what happened here?
Well, we started with 3-inch flat bar, and we just cut a bunch of pieces 5 inches and made the bottom mold. And then we rolled a ring to put around here, a couple decorative pieces. Made a base out of an old plow disc and set it on a coil of barbed wire with some barbed wire fence posts made for the legs. And then this was a separate project that I'd already done that I found looks pretty good on the top as a lid.
So Mike, let's confer who we think actually won this competition. Come on over here. I mean, the art on Brian's is just exceptional, and this one over here is just off the hook. I mean,
Yeah, very functional.
So who, do you think there's a clear winner, or do you want to just call it a draw?
I would call it a draw.
And then make them have a fabricate off. We pay them each $100. Each team gets $100, which was the first place prize. We can basically go with the awards with some kind of necklaces or something like that. I've got it. Just a second. I'll be right back. I think I know what to do. We've really got a dilemma going on here with the award. Mike and I have conferred, tried to figure out what was going on. To remind the viewers of what we're actually doing here, first place was going to get $100 for their win. The other team was going to they weren't going to get anything. We feel, the judges, and after all, this is a world where feelings means more than reality. So we feel that both teams are due for a participation trophy because they both paid it. However, we cannot deem a winner. So what we're going to do, we're going to make it a tie. We're going to pay each team $100 for their efforts, and this is going to be continued to the next, we're going to call it a Fabrication-off. We're going out to Mike Saw's ranch, but right now I want to make the awards. We have the greatest of all time. There's been some other considerations that I basically have to take into account. So as far as I'm concerned, the greatest of all time is Jake. Jake, you've won the greatest of all time award. So for the most valuable player, it's going to be Brian. From what I understand after conferring with Mike, a little bit of a deficit in relationship to all the considerations that we have going on, so that everybody knows it's going to be continued. Do you take this challenge on?
I do.
All right, here we go. Yay! The most valuable player here. Photo op, here, shake. Thank you. Photo op. Send your donations to Bob Campen at P.O. Box. Thank you so much. All right.